Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Bush League Huddle Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Fab. I'm joined with Roger and Knack. We apologize in advance if you're watching us on YouTube and Spotify video where you just saw the Toronto Maple Leafs logo and or the Blue Jays. Anyways, Roger's been flip-flopping between being a Habs fan and the Rangers fan and a Leafs fan for a few years now. He's basically like the Nick of the NHL where he has like 45 different favorite teams, but that's fine. Anyway, that's just apologies
Just
for
got
that,
back
ladies
from
and gentlemen.
Toronto. I'm juiced to be in my home away from home.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's good. I was gonna say there's not a lot of people that say I come back from Toronto and I'm juiced. So I'm happy that you've completed that sentence because any listeners in Toronto, we apologize. But you know what I'm talking about. You guys, it's like concrete jungle there, and people just show up when they go to work and Young Street and all that stuff. Anyways, so yeah, we're a fantasy football podcast. Thank you very much for joining us on this wonderful episode where we're going to be going over, the usual stuff. I love hates. We got a little segment over here, and we got some nice, we got some nice matchups for preview a little bit too for week 6, and we're obviously always excited and we're very jacked and juiced up, as Roger would say, to have you all here. Before we get started, though, we want to remind all of our loyal listeners, which is you guys listening to us right now, to please follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter for your weekly fantasy breakdowns, where you're going to get those all season. This is week 6, so we're going to keep it going up until week 16, 17, 8, doesn't matter, until playoffs. The real ones, not the fantasy football ones, but even those are stupid. So just send us all of your waiver questions, your sit start questions, your trade questions. We've been getting a lot of questions about Christian McCaffrey, which is like very interesting. The fact that that guy is even being floated around as a possible trade option.
Just say no.
Yeah, pretty much. Unless you're getting a king's ransom for him, Christian McCaffrey it's going to be very hard to trade. But
Derrick Henry too.
Yeah, I mean Henry is.
That's another story.
I was going to say Henry is. Does anyone have a bag of chips that they want to give up? I don't know. That's kind of what he's going for right now. Just send us all of your waiver wire questions, your sit start questions, your trade questions. We answer all of them. We really interact with our fans quite a bit. We actually enjoy it, honestly. Like whenever Roger gets a question, he sends it in a group chat between Knack and myself, and we're like, wow, what is that? Oh my God, it's crazy. It's like, yeah, do this, don't do that. And we actually get into arguments ourselves too. So you guys are top of mind all the time. We really appreciate our fans reaching out to us and asking us these questions. It really, really helps us drive this podcast. So thank you very much for that. So please follow us, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Continue to interact. And without further ado, we're going to get this episode kicked off with our opening drive. Roger, take it away.
Yes, this week's opening drive. Every week we start with something that sets the tone, and this week it's all about trust. Welcome to the circle of trust. Not everyone makes the circle of trust, but after 5 weeks, kumbaya. After 5 weeks, some guys just keep showing up. It's not the stars, it's not the names you brag about. These are just the ones who keep showing up. You doubted them, Fab. You doubted them, Knack. Maybe you benched them. Maybe even trashed them in our group chat. But they've proven it every week, consistent, reliable, matchup proof. They've earned your lineup spot, and they've earned a seat in the Bush League Huddle Circle of Trust. Who's number one in the Bush League Huddle Circle of Trust? Mr. Sam Darnold. Why did we doubt him? He had a great 2024, but leaving the QB whisperer in Kevin O'Connell left cause for concern. So far, he's been nothing short of fantastic. 113 QB rating, 73% completion percentage, 9 touchdowns, 3 INTs. He's locked in as a weekly start in 2 QB and Superflex. And I think he's creeping in as a lock in 1 QB formats as well. Sam Darnold, welcome to the Circle of Trust. Next up, we have David Montgomery. Why did we doubt him? It seemed like Gibbs was entrenched as the guy, but it's virtually a 50-50 split. And if anything, Detroit is leaning more on the run without Ben Johnston. Monty has almost the same amount of yards, higher yards per carry, and 1 more TD than Gibbs. He's pretty much a flex lock at this point, and back to being a bona fide goal line guy. David Montgomery, welcome to the Circle of Trust. Next, we have Quinton Johnston. Why did we doubt him? Do we really need to ask? Fab, I'm looking at you. Edward Scissorhands had so many brutal drops last year, plus the Keenan Allen addition rendered his ADP as the 60th wide receiver off the board. He's the wide receiver 8th on the year, which is hard to believe. He has as many targets as Amon-Ra St. Brown and clearly has the trust of Justin Herbert. and he should have yours by now too. Quinton Johnston, welcome to the Circle of Trust. Next, we have Drake May. Why did we doubt Drake May? Was it the rookie wall? Was the Stroud sophomore experience? Well, there's been none of that with May. He looks like he's the best of the 2024 QB class, and he just orchestrated a huge win versus the Buffalo Bills. He's the QB7 on the season, completing 73% of his passes, and he's unlocked Stefon Diggs, who looks awesome coming back from a torn ACL. The crazy part is his rushing hasn't even come to life yet. Drake May, welcome to the Circle of Trust.
Circle of Trust. I just want to say that Drake May is the truth. Drake May is the truth.
A lot of great breakdowns about him recently. That throw he made, like in the end, in the red zone on the run, was absolutely nuts.
The real deal.
The real deal. Next, we have Javonte Williams. Why did we doubt him? Well, Javonte has always been a year away from being a year away. Highly touted in Denver, the ACL injury, the inconsistencies, the drafting of his many replacements multiple times. That year away from being a year away, it actually has finally arrived, and he looks awesome. The RB3 on the year, 5.7 yards per carry, averaging 20 PPR points per game, and he's clearly solidified himself as the main guy in Big D and in your lineups. Javonte Williams, welcome to the Circle of Trust.
Circle of Trust. I just want to give a quick shout out to cousin Pete, actually, who I think we all owe an apology to. Came on this podcast, and he was praising this signing, Javonte Williams. He's going to be great. He's going to be amazing. I'm drafting him, and we were all looking at him like he had four heads. So I just want to, cousin Pete, if you're listening, mea culpa. You called it right. I want to give props and dues where it's done. You don't get a lot of things right, but you got this one right.
It's hard to blame us, to be honest, the way he looked the last few years, but definitely deserves props for that. That was a bang on call. Two more left in the Circle of Trust. We have Travis Etienne Jr. Why did we doubt him? Well, last week we talked about getting got by preseason hype last episode. Backfield, the backfield of the Jags really embodied that, whether it was Tank Bigsby or Bashul Tutin. No one thought Etienne was going to be the guy, and then boom, over 140 yards in week one. Then Bigsby gets traded to the Eagles the week after, and he's been the RB11 on the season. Travis Etienne, welcome to the Circle of Trust.
Circle of Trust.
And then finally, last but not least, we have Mr. Jake Ferguson. Why did we doubt him? Was it over a year without a TD? Maybe dating a Cavender twin and the impact that had on 2024 Carson Beck? Anyways, Fergie is the tight end one on the season and looking dominant at times, coming off a 2 TD performance against the Jets. And his ADP, 123. Don't take tight ends early. And also Jake Ferguson, welcome to the Circle of Trust.
Circle of Trust.
And then quickly have some honorable mentions. Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Christian McCaffrey, Devon Achane, James Dalvin Cook, Baker Mayfield, and Puka Nacua. The Puka Nacua one is one that I... Honestly, we almost deserve to not have a podcast.
Honestly, we were dogging Puka, and even Stafford too. We're dogging him as well. And you look at where they are right now, and it's like, how are we even allowed on the air? We're not on the air. We're on the virtual air, but you know what I mean. Like it's.
And that is a Circle of Trust for week 6. Circle of Trust.
Thank you, Roger. I will continue with the love-hate picks for our week 6 here. But before we do that, we always want to keep each other honest. And we will go through our results from week 5, where we went a good 9-6, and we actually came back to 500, guys. We're 35-1 for the season. So we clawed our way back, thanks mostly in part by Roger. Roger, you lost on your love of Darius Slayton. He did pick up an injury during the game, but you did win with Christian Kirk, Dalton Schultz, and your hate for AJ Brown and Khalil Shakir.
I won these by the chin, the hair of my chin on all these.
We base these guys.
It counts.
The cumulative, like gap between the projected and actual, I think, is like 3 points between all these guys. All the love,
Yeah,
all my loves this
but
week.
we base it on
All the-
off of the projections,
Yes.
so we'll definitely take those as a win. Fab, you had Jackson Dart as a love, which you nailed. Also nailed Waller and Jaden Daniels as a hate. But you missed on Bryce Young and Trevor Lawrence, who had a career game on Monday night against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, hopefully that's a sign of things to come for Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. And I was the only one who was outside here. I went 2-3 on the week. I'm giving myself the win on Michael Carter because I did take Trey Benson, who was injured. So I'm going to take the win on Michael Carter. Lost on the Alvin Kamara. Still kind of not sure what's going on with him, but did win on my hate of Chase Brown. We know exactly what's going on with him. Missed on Bill Krosky Merritt. That was a big game from the 7th round rookie, and TJ Hawkinson. But I mean, he was projected 8.36 points and got 9.8. So like that's on the borderline.
Yeah. Just for the remainder of the season, and for as long as Michael Carter is relevant, would you guys mind if we refer to him as Michael Carter?
The Carter.
Carter.
The
Like
Carter.
Rush Hour?
The Carter.
I have Jackie Chan saying Carter in my head every time I read Michael Carter.
Is just like, he's not even listening.
No, it's fine. That's
Not
okay.
listening
It's
at
okay.
all.
We probably lost half of our
I
listeners. just
muted
off that.
Fab while he was talking there.
We went from 4 to 2. It's okay.
So
Moving
guys,
right
we
along.
did bounce back. We're at 500, so clean slate heading into week 6. We have the Texans and the Vikings on bye. So without further ado, let's go through our love hates for week 6. And Raj, why don't you start us off with a couple of QBs that you love going into week 6?
Yes, sir, Knack. The first QB I love is Cam Ward, QB 28 at the Raiders. The Raiders, who are an absolute mess, who, while statistically their defense has been middle of the pack, they are seeing decreases in pressure, blitz rate, and knockdown rates versus last year. My key thing with this is Geno Smith is a huge turnover machine, and the Raiders are second in the league in giveaways. And we saw last week a remarkable improvement from Cam Ward in the comeback win versus the Cardinals, finding chemistry with Calvin Ridley. I think Cam Ward has a nice game due to Geno Smith's turnovers and the Titans getting nice field position because Geno is an absolute mess right now.
Interesting.
That is a very, very interesting take that you're thinking Cam Ward's going to have a good game because Geno Smith is going to turn it over. That is amazing to me. I love it. I love it.
West Coast.
Yeah, it's a disaster in Raiderland, and I don't think.
Well, there's talk about him being benched, eh?
Talk about him being benched, and I just think Cam Ward played.
Yeah,
he played really. I think he played really well, especially in the fourth quarter. Look, I don't think the Titans should have won that game, and we'll talk a little bit about some Cardinals afterwards. But yeah, it's looking bad with the Raiders. Second QB I love is another shocker, maybe Mr. Spencer Rattler, the Rattlesnake, QB 25 versus New England. Spencer Rattler looked really solid against the Giants. Really good pass rush last week. He gets a competent pass defense that held Josh Allen quite in check last Sunday night. Where I like Rattler is he has at least one passing touchdown in 4 straight games. His home splits are much better than road splits in terms of yards per attempt, touchdown rate, yards per game, and QB rating. And this game is at home. The Saints have always been much better looking at home against the road versus the road. And he's developed quite a chemistry with Juwan Johnston, Chris Olave, and Rashid Shaheed throughout different games. Last week we saw him with the nice touchdown deep pass to Rashid Shaheed. So I think he's a solid QB to play in Superflex and 2 QB leagues.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm aboard. He's really looked a lot better in his second year than he has obviously in his first year, and you can really see him turning into the quarterback that I remember. Seth Galina, friend of the podcast, was pretty high on Spencer coming out of the gate. So I think it's nice that you see it happening as you would expect it.
Always had a rocket arm.
He has a rocket arm, and if anyone who listens to Nate Tice, he's on Yahoo Fantasy Sports and Yahoo Football coverage. He really liked Rattler coming out of college, so I think he's carving out at least like a backup spot starter role in the league.
Oh yeah.
In terms of QBs, I talked about the Cardinals. I have Kyler Murray, who I hate, at QB 17 at the Colts. This is probably my least favorite team to watch in the league, guys. They don't give the ball to their stars. The OC runs a conservative offense. The coach beats his players. The players fumble at the goal line. Like, what is there to like about this team? Kyler hasn't hit 250 yards passing in almost a year. And if we look at these stats for Kyler, he ranks 31st in air yards per attempt and 29th in yards per dropback. He's being saved solely by his rushing, and he only has one rushing TD in the year. He's a running quarterback. The Colts have allowed only 15 rushes for 54 yards, to rushing QBs. It's one of the most pedestrian offenses to watch in the league versus one of the best playmaking defenses. We see what the Colts do on a weekly basis. They turn the ball over a tremendous amount of time. They're 5th in overall takeaways at almost 2 per game. Kyler is a hate for me until they figure out their offensive coordinator and offensive situation.
Yeah, Gannon got fined by the team there. You see that for his outburst on DeMarcado on the sideline?
That was stupid. Not the outburst, the fine.
I get it. I get why you're upset, but to chew him out to that extent, like in front of the cameras, that's coaching 101.
You can't be physical, right?
I respectfully disagree. And these guys are professional football players. You're playing at a very high level and a very high standard, and that was a bonehead move.
100%. I'm not excusing the bonehead move. 100%.
No, I'm not saying you are, but you need to be ripped, in my opinion. I'm sorry, you're getting
not on the sideline with everyone watching like that.
Oh,
and that's not how you get a player to keep his confidence going forward either, right? Like that's not.
You're already a third backup running back, and you keep on fumbling the ball at the 1 yard line. Like you never had confidence to begin with.
So to me, I partly agree with Fabio in terms of like, hey, there's an accountability aspect to like. You can't do that. Like, and I don't know how players are still doing this. I don't know why there's not just like.
I don't know why this is a thing in 2025.
To me, any coach who allows this to happen is like you have to talk about it. But I think where I side more so with Knack is like you just can't hit players. Like he literally like looked like he just like was trying to rip his arm apart.
Yeah,
like we work in professional situations. Like that is unacceptable.
No, right? Exactly. It's unacceptable.
I don't see it the same way you guys do. That I think it comes down to that. I don't see it as it was more like a shot, like, hey man, wake the hell up type thing versus I want to rip out your.
It looked a little bit worse than that.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree, disagree. It's fine. I guess I got thicker skin than you guys, I suppose. That's
okay. Here we go.
Speaking of backups, in terms of the last QB I hate, I have Dillon Gabriel, QB 27 at Pittsburgh. I know it's going to hurt you a little bit, Fab, but listen to my reasoning. Gabriel performed quite admirably in his first start overseas against a Brian Flores defense. I have him solely as a hate, as I'm banking on Mike Tomlin's record versus rookie QBs. I'm sure, Nak, you know this very well. Since being head coach, Mike Tomlin is 26-6 versus rookie QBs. And the Steelers' last 4 rookies that they faced, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, Will Levis, and CJ Stroud had a combined 2 TDs, 3 INTs, and a 54% completion percentage. So I do like Gabriel, but I doubt the Browns' offensive woes and efficiency are suddenly solved just by putting Gabriel. Plus, the Steelers' defense has looked way better than they have over the past few games, especially on pass D. And I think all the talent that they have there, they're going to start figuring out. And I think they put the clamp on the Browns.
Tomlin is also 18-1 at home versus the Browns in his tenure.
18-1.
The only loss came in that embarrassing playoff loss in 20.
Oh, the Baker Mayfield one, yeah.
2020, yeah.
What's Mike
18-0 in the regular season at home versus the Browns.
What's Mike Tomlin's record with using a Mike Tomlinism at the end of a press conference?
100%. It's everyone.
The standard is the standard, and yeah.
The standard is the standard.
The standard is the standard. Oh, man,
thank you, Raj, for the quarterback love-hate. We're going to turn it over to Fab with the running backs. Fab, take it away.
Very hyped, boys. Very hyped. Very hyped. My first love. Oof.
CMC. You're going to say it.
No.
CMC. Oi.
No. This is our boy. Actually, no, the second one's really our boy. But this is still a boy that we appreciate very much. That sounded really bad. So this is so my first love is Rico Dowdle versus Dallas. So this week,
revenge game.
We spell revenge RICO. because this is a Rico Dowdle complete revenge game right now. So Dowdle lit up Miami last week for a career day, 206 rushing yards and 30 fantasy points. And this week he faces his former team in the Cowboys that currently give up the 6th most fantasy points to running backs. Chuba Hubbard is considered, I'll never get the name right. Chuba Hubbard is considered day-to-day, and there's no news yet if he'll play, but if he does, you'd expect him to be limited after last week, especially Rico has, clearly carved out a role. I think he's going to be here to stay because those numbers can't really be ignored. Also, some extra info on Hubbard. He's started off slow out of the gates and hasn't really broken a single tackle so far this season. So Rico right now is ranked as RB14, but I think he gets you a top 10 return and firmly back in the RB1 conversation. I would start him with extreme confidence versus a very porous Dallas defense.
He's one that maybe after a few games might be a circle of trust candidate that we doubted, and
I would like to plant the flag and say that I did not doubt him, and I even went on record to say that this would be a committee backfield at some point. Because Rico was good for Dallas. Chuba is also very good, but he doesn't.
I have no recollection of that, but I took your word for it.
That's fine. It was one of the episodes we had with one of our guests on. I forget his name, but anyways,
you remember the take, but not.
Yeah,
I remember. Of course, I remember my own takes. You guys remember your own takes? I absolutely remember my own takes. Yeah, I just feel like he's going to have a role, and I don't think anybody was expecting 206 rushing yards. Fun fact: I think he was 4 yards away from the franchise record set by
Timbia Kabatuka.
No, not Lindell White, not Lindell. Who's the other one? Stewart. No, not Stewart. He had dreads.
Oh,
D'Angelo Williams. No, I think Stewart had more.
Williams. Thank you.
I think Stewart had more. D'Angelo Williams, I think they were saying was second. Stewart.
No, D'Angelo Williams has 210 rushing yards as a single. That's what I read. Maybe I'm wrong, but fine. We're talking about the same thing. So I just feel like that can't really be ignored. And like it or not, he's going to have some sort of a role in this offense. And even if Chuba is back this week, he might not be at 100%. He's still day-to-day. They might want to injure him, especially after he got paid. So anyways, start him with confidence. He's RB14 right now, but for me, he's a plug-and-play RB1 without a doubt in my mind.
Yeah, Brees went for 14 for 113 against the Cowboys last week.
Yeah, so like everybody runs on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And remember when they did that trade to get a defensive tackle because they needed help with the running game?
Kenny Clark, yeah.
How good is, and he's a good defensive tackle, but how good is that working out for them? Jerry Jones, go back to flipping off your fans.
So he just to clear it up for everyone here, Dowdle tied Jonathan Stewart at 206, and D'Angelo Williams did have 210. So you were correct.
For all the listeners out there, I was right. So my next love
doesn't happen often, guys. Mark it on your calendars.
Hey man, even a broken clock is right twice a day. How's that for a Fabio-ism? Why am I still talking? I'm still on my second love. So my second love of the week for running backs. Now this is our boy right here. This is J.K. Dobbins at the New York Jets.
Our first love.
How have we gone 5 weeks and not mentioned the former, current, and forever future league winner J.K. Dobbins?
He's a beauty.
Joke. J.K. has been great this year in Denver. Right now, he's currently PPR running back 14. He's had 11 plus fantasy points in all the games he's played. He scored a TD in 4 of the 5 games he's played. And last week, versus a very tough Philly defense, he hit them up for 80 rushing yards and a score. This week, he plays the Jets, the Jets, Jets, giving up the 9th most fantasy points to running backs and is in another excellent spot to finish in the top 10. I love JK this week and rest of season 2. He's currently ranked as RB17 in week 6, but like I said, similar to Rico Dowdle, I expect him to finish a hell of a lot higher. He's another guy that I'd start with extreme confidence. Get him in your lineups if you have him.
I will.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at you. I'm facing Knack this week. This is a secret Courtney. Who knows?
They're not teeing off RJ Harvey as much as I thought they would. Maybe like the snap share.
I think JK is just taking over.
Yeah,
I think he's just proving that he needs to be on the field too, and he's just like, it's tough to. They've been playing kind of 50-50, if not a little 60-40, so it hasn't been great. But Dobbins has been And he gets more of the red zone work as well.
Totally.
Mhm. Yeah. Makes a difference. I think I know when Denver signed Evan Engram, everyone was like, "Oh, Sean Payton got his Joker player, got his Joker player." I think it was JK. I think when they signed JK, I think this was the Joker. I really do. So those are my loves for the week. So I'm excited to go 2-0 in that regard. So my moving on to my hates now. One of the guys we just spoke about, but he does have a bit of a tough matchup. We got Travis Etienne Jr. versus Seattle. So this is not an indictment on Travis Etienne, who we've spoken about is playing at an extremely high level this year. It's more in regards to Seattle defense, and they're pretty stout on the run. So if you take out the 2 rushing touchdowns Rachaad White scored last week, which saved his entire stat line because he wasn't very efficient on the ground, Seattle have given up 0 rushing touchdowns to RBs all season. In fact, they're only giving up 3.15 yards per carry. ETN struggled versus Kansas City last week, and I'm expecting the same outcome here. Seattle run defense is very good. He's currently ranked as RB16, but he's more of a flex play for me unless you have better options. So the 2 guys that I mentioned previous to Etienne, right, Rico and JK, I would start these guys way before I would start Travis.
That front is very good.
The Seattle's front is very good. Cat Williams, man, like he's a good defensive tackle. Yeah. He's really, really good. He's having a great season too. And moving on to my second hate. This one hurts a bit, but I think it's time. It's Derrick Henry versus the Rams.
Oh, he made the hit list. 2 big guys.
I think we're at this point.
He's not rated very high, is he? What is he running back? What?
He's like
16
RB
or something?
Yeah.
RB16. He's like mid-tier RB2. That's where he's ranked right now. Yeah, so obviously this one hurts. You know, I really hope this isn't the year that King Henry finally falls off. But if he does turn back into the Henry of old, it might have to wait until week 8 because Baltimore's on bye week 7. Rams run D is legit. The entire team is on fire right now. Ravens, on the other hand, are just a dumpster fire, and the Rams give up 3.4 yards a carry, so it's not a lot, but not a little. They have also not surrendered a single rushing TD all season so far.
Oh, interesting.
The fact, like the only time an RB has had success versus the Rams D was thanks to the receiving game. So which Henry is not really known for. He's RB16 this week. He's ranked as RB16. He may be RB1 in your hearts, but I think you should really consider benching him for some better options. He's a flex play at best.
Oh, that's tough to do. This could be a Justice Hill Keaton Mitchell game, the way you're based off what you're saying. But I'm not ready to say that Derrick Henry is done. What I am ready to say is that the offense doesn't know how to utilize him on first and second down.
Are we ready to say that Derrick Henry is matchup dependent?
No.
Yeah, it's I don't know. If I have Derrick Henry, there's no way I'm benching him just because you're gonna bench him and he's gonna go off for 185 and 2 touchdowns, and you're gonna be sitting there like, yeah, I'm an idiot. Like I benched Derrick Henry, you know?
To me, it depends on your options, and it's always how much will it pain you to bench Derrick Henry if he goes off versus the player you are putting him instead. So if somehow you have like Breece Hall, Derrick Henry, and I don't know, like you managed to get Bill Krosky-Merritt, then maybe but
yeah, and Bill Krosky-Merritt has an excellent matchup this week versus Chicago.
Yeah, he does, but I tend to agree with Knack on that point.
Yeah, I don't know, just be really hard. Like you're saying flex play, so he's still in your lineup.
He's sorry to interrupt you, Knack. In PPR rankings, is RB21.
Yeah, PPR is probably even worse. You're right.
Yeah,
it could be even worse. But that's still firmly RB2 territory, right? So it's I don't know. It's still tough. I'd be hard pressed to get him completely out of the lineup. But
and just the last thing, it's not matchup dependent. Is how much can the Ravens defense hold up? Because if the Ravens defense can keep it close, he stays on the field. If the Ravens defense spots a 30 burger, they got to put Justice Hill.
Yeah, well, how well has the Ravens defense held up to anything? Not called a nosebleed right now. You know, I mean, they can't
Swiss cheese.
And it's a very good point that you bring up there, because if If the opponent's offense is on the field all the time, and the Ravens' offense can't get anything going, and they're always behind, they abandon the run game because anyways. So
The game
I
script
think we're all kind of
changes.
saying the same thing here. I think
Yeah.
maybe one of us is a little bit more honest with themselves, but
Okay. I think we've had enough of Fab talking for a
yeah,
little
I've
bit.
spoken a little bit too much
Thank
now
you
right
very
now.
much, Fab, for your love hate on the running backs. I will keep the party going and hopefully keep Fab's mouth a little bit shut here for the next few minutes. I will kick it off here with the wide receivers. So one wide receiver that I love, you touched upon him a little bit before, Raj, is going to be Mr. Stefon Diggs, wide receiver 17 at the Saints. So typically wide receivers returning from an ACL injury need about a 3-week ramp-up period before they start finding their stride, especially going to a new team as well. So that's exactly what we're seeing from Diggs after just posting just 24.2 fantasy points over his first 3 games. He's exploded the past 2 weeks for a combined 40.7, and that's been against some tough pass defenses as well. Him and Drake May has been playing excellent football, as you obviously alluded to in the beginning, and his chemistry with Diggs looks legit. They made some pretty nice throws and catches last week. And the matchup versus New Orleans isn't ideal on paper, but I think I'm riding the hot hand here, and he could post almost wide receiver 1 numbers this week against the Saints.
Do we think it's the pink substance that he was giving to Cardi B that somehow just made his ACL heal faster?
I think if you know what I think it is. I think now he's really. I think he's calmed down a little bit after becoming a father with Cardi B. I think that's what it is. I think he's finally found.
Hey, his interview on Sunday night with I forget who it was right before the pregame, he sounded so much different and so much more like a mature like human being, and he actually mentioned it while on doing the interview. So maybe he has changed. Maybe he's kind of he's found a place where
Yeah, it was his fault that it broke up with him and Josh Allen. Like
for
he
sure.
was too focused on just his own stats, and then his brother got involved. So, anyways, I'm happy to see it, and he looks like old Stefon Diggs again.
Yeah.
Looks good. My second love for this week is going to be Chris Godwin, wide receiver 33 versus the 49ers. So similar to Diggs, Godwin battled back from a serious leg injury that kept him out much of last season. But surprisingly, he still saw 10 targets in his first game back. Unfortunately, he only turned that into 3 catches for 26 yards, and he repeated the exact same stat line in week 5, albeit on fewer targets. Still, not forget that Godwin was a top 3 fantasy wide receiver last year before going down with the injury. I think, Fab, you know that best.
Oh yeah.
And with both Mike Evans and Jalen McMillan sidelined, Godwin should see a heavy volume again in what projects to be a high-scoring matchup here against San Francisco. I think he has a great chance to deliver wide receiver 2 numbers, and I'm starting him confidently in all formats.
Yeah,
I think it's time. It's coming.
I really hope you're right, because I'm going to be a Chris Godwin fan for life.
That's why I said you knew it best.
He's hard not
Yeah.
to. He's hard not to. He's hard to sit, and also the snap share. So for like 81% snap percentage, like first game back, 77 second game back. Like that's very promising.
Yeah, and like people are obviously now going to be aware of Emeka Egbuka, excuse me.
God.
So
Gronk, is that you?
he's just yeah, that was a funny one actually. Yeah, he's legit. I loved him coming out of Ohio
Yeah, you
State,
did.
and he just really like okay. He had Mike Evans that was out, he had Godwin that was out that helped him out, but he looks fire.
He's the truth. 5 games in.
So now moving on to the wide receivers, I hate going into week 6. I have Calvin Ridley, wide receiver 29 at the Raiders.
I had a feeling.
Well, I guess if you hear my reasoning, I mean, I might change your mind a bit if you've turned the corner on Calvin Ridley. But I mean, did someone in your league drop Calvin Ridley after 4 straight duds? Maybe you even spend fab on him to pick him up after his 18-point bounce back last week. I'm here to warn you, don't chase the outlier. So that is the outlier of the season so far. So before week 5, Ridley hadn't hit double digits once this year with a season high of just 57 receiving yards. And even in a favorable matchup with Las Vegas, there's no reason to trust him to deliver again. Every player has their moments, but I think we'll see the real Ridley again this Sunday. And that's the one who disappoints fantasy managers.
Yeah,
Not a fan.
he's hard to trust. I agree, and the catch rate is really bad. The catch rate is really bad. 15 receptions on 34 targets. Part of that is Cam work. Part of that is the fact that they just get the protection's been bad. I look at it as like I feel like Godwin really end of season. If you look at last year, he finished with 64 receptions, 1,000 yards, again on 120 targets, which is really bad. He ended up being wide receiver 27. Calvin Ridley will end up being a top 30 wide receiver by hook or by crook, but the way that he gets there is probably some of the worst way you could get there possible. Like it's the ride sucks.
Yeah, because Ridley. You're going to get a bunch of 7-point, 8-point games, and then you're going to have that 18, 22-point outburst, and that's what happened last year. You had those 3-4 games where he really went off, and then the rest were single-digit performances. So, yeah, I'm not counting on him to do it 2 weeks in a row.
You know, the targets are there. The problem is that I guess it's the quality of the throws that are going his way, because his catch percentage is like less than 50%.
Did I not just say that?
Yeah, I'm just reiterating it. I'm just reiterating it. Wasn't paying attention. Michael.
You weren't.
You are researching. A darling.
Were you researching while I was talking?
I was doing a little bit of research while you were talking.
Shame on you.
Hey, and this I'm working while I'm working. What can I say? It's another Fabio-ism. We are a serious podcast.
The most serious
Tomlin
podcast.
says I'm working while I'm working.
Yeah, Tomlin is just a beauty.
The standard is the standard.
The standard is the standard. So my second hate, guys, for week 6 is going to be DJ Moore. He's currently going as wide receiver 21 at the Commanders on Monday Night Football. So all off season, we heard that DJ Moore would be Caleb Williams' go-to guy, the Bears version of Amon-Ra St. Brown with the Ben Johnston there. But so far, crickets. Since signing his extension, Moore has looked disengaged and frustrated on the sideline, and his production has fallen off a cliff. So, meanwhile, you have Rome Odunze, who stepped up into a bigger role, and even Luther Burden is getting more involved. So I think it's hard to see Moore turning things around on Monday night against Washington. And with only 2 teams on bye this week, you probably have better options up and down your roster. I consider even sitting DJ Moore this week.
Nak, would you sit him over Matthew Golden?
Yes.
Which is the situation I have.
Golden has an excellent matchup this week.
Does. Yeah.
He's playing the Cincinnati Bengals, who give up a ton of yards. And Golden has been more involved in each week since he started. And now with their bye week, I think they probably figured out that we got to get this guy more involved and get the ball into his hands. I would definitely start Golden over DJ Moore this week.
Sold.
I mean, I would start Golden over DJ Moore too. I don't want to turn this into a DJ Moore conversation, but he only has 14 targets in 4 games.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's very, very terrible. And I thought Ben Johnston, remember everyone said, oh, Ben Johnston is going to turn him into Amon-Ra St. Brown, kind of similar type player.
I definitely said that.
Yeah, but we heard it.
We were on board.
Like people were talking about it.
Yeah, we were
that
on board
way.
With that.
It's like 14 targets in 5 games. Like that's a bit rough.
It's weird because I still think he's a great player. So
he is.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's lack of chemistry, but I'm definitely not dropping him. And I would not advise people to drop him.
No. But I'm not going to drop him.
But I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
And why don't we wrap this up, boys? Raj, you have a tight end that you love or hate this week?
Yeah, quickly, I like Evan Engram, tight end 19 at the Jets. Jets have given up the most TDs to opposing tight ends. They've been brutalized in back-to-back weeks by Darren Waller and Jake Ferguson. It's hard not to think Sean Payton won't exploit that against a very disappointing Aaron Glenn defense. So I like Kevin Engram, tight end 19 at the Jets.
Nice.
I like it.
Fab, what about you?
I do not like Dalton Kincaid at Atlanta. So Kincaid has been really great so far. I think he's tight end 2 on the season right now. And he put up 108 yards on 6 receptions last week versus New England, but Atlanta gives up the least amount of fantasy points to opposing tight ends. In fact, Atlanta's D in general has been pretty stingy on all fronts. He's ranked as tight end 7 this week, but I think you have other options. In more favorable matchups, like Taylor versus Denver, Njoku versus Pittsburgh, even Tonges versus Denver. Taylor versus Denver, Njoku versus Pittsburgh, or even Tonges versus Tampa Bay, San Francisco tight end. Can't pronounce
Jake
his last name.
Tonjes, yeah.
Tonjes, that's it. Yeah, I start any one of those over Kincaid. Actually, I'm not a fan of this matchup versus Atlanta.
I like it. And I'll finish us off with a tight end that I love this week. It's going to be Rogers' boy, Juwan Johnston, tight end 17 going into this week versus the Patriots. So after commanding 28 targets over the first 3 weeks and posting double-digit fantasy totals, Johnson has gone ice cold, which is 7 total targets and under 10 fantasy points combined in the past 2 games. But the good news is his usage remains steady, and he has an 85% and over snap share in all 5 games. And the better news is that he's got a big bounce back matchup, against New England, who has surrendered the 5th most fantasy points to tight ends, including 16.8 points to Mr. Dalton Kincaid that we said last week, and touchdowns to both Tommy Tremble and Mitchell Evans the week before. So 2 tight ends from Carolina finding the end zone. So if he's on the waiver wire, I would grab him, and he's a very strong plug and play streaming option for this week.
That's a good stat, especially considering Taysom Hill was finally active, and even Foster Moreau as well. So it's the fact that he played 85% is a good sign.
And he was I think he was over 90 the first 4 weeks.
Yes,
so he lost out 5% with Taysom Hill. He might see some reduction, but Moreau will probably figure to see a lot less in that equation because Johnson's obviously the better player. So that'll do it for us, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on all the social media platforms. We always interact with our fans, and like Fab alluded to before, we love to do it. So throw anything out there. We will answer any and all your questions. And we will be back next week with week 7. So enjoy this week. Good luck. And Raj, cue the music.
There you go.
Boom.
That
was a great episode.
This weekend.
It was.
Oh, I gotta win this week.
Nak, you and I are both 2 and 3, huh? This is the TSN turning point.
Losing to Raj by 4 points really hurt last week.
Because you're overconfident.
I was overconfident.
Hey, I beat Spiro last week. He was undefeated. So
one
Vavujai down, 1 to go.
Black. that was the cue to cut it. You know who's not undefeated?
Who's not undefeated?
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. Peace out.